Lieutenant Zarath clicked her mandibles in satisfaction as the holographic display materialized above the lecture podium. Around her, 47 of the hegemony's finest military cadets straightened in their seats, compound eyes reflecting the blue glow of the projection. Today's lesson would be particularly enlightening, a detailed analysis of human combat weaknesses extracted from actual battlefield footage. Today, we study the species that calls itself human, Zarath announced, her voice carrying the authority of someone who had survived 3 separate encounters with these peculiar bipeds. Note their physical limitations. No natural armor, no enhanced sensory organs, no redundant vital systems. By all evolutionary logic, they should have been eliminated from the galaxy within cycles of first contact. The footage began to play. It showed a human military outpost on Kepler 438b, a strategic mining world that had fallen under hegemony control 6 months prior. The resolution was crystal clear. Their surveillance drones had captured every detail of the final assault. Cadet Vexhai raised a tentacle. Instructor, if they are so weak, why does the High Command continue to classify them as a Class 7 threat? Zarath's mandibles spread in what might have been a smile. Observe, and you will understand. The hologram showed hegemony forces advancing on the outpost, a full battalion of their warrior caste, each standing 3 meters tall with bio-enhanced carapaces that could deflect plasma fire. The humans numbered perhaps 30, trapped in a compound with failing shields and dwindling ammunition. Note the tactical situation, Zarath continued. Complete encirclement, superior numbers, advanced weaponry. This should be a textbook example of swift conquest, but as the footage progressed, something unexpected began to unfold. The humans didn't surrender. They didn't even attempt to negotiate. Instead, they began to fight with a ferocity that defied their biological limitations. The first shock came when a human female, barely reaching the shoulder height of a hegemony warrior, somehow managed to down 3 soldiers with nothing but improvised explosives and her bare hands. The cadets watched in stunned silence as she moved through their lines like a specter of destruction. "Instructor," whispered Cadet Morden, "how is this possible? Our warriors have enhanced musculature and reinforced skeletal structures." "Desperation," Zarath replied, though her voice carried less certainty than before. "Humans exhibit increased combat effectiveness when facing extinction. It is irrational." The footage continued. The same human female. The cadets could see her designation clearly now. Chen Monsieur, Sergeant, stenciled on her combat armor, had somehow acquired hegemony weapons and was turning them against their own forces with devastating efficiency. She moved with impossible precision, anticipating their tactics, exploiting weaknesses in their formation that even experienced commanders had missed. But it wasn't just her. Every human in that compound fought as though death was preferable to surrender. A wounded soldier with only one functioning arm held off an entire squad. An elderly human who appeared to be a civilian technician jury-rigged their remaining power cells into weapons of mass destruction. The tide of battle began to shift. "This cannot be accurate footage," declared Cadet Thrix. "No species fights like this. It violates basic survival instincts." Zarath paused the projection. Around the classroom, her students sat in uncomfortable silence, their certainty shaken. The human sergeant filled the holographic display, her face streaked with blood and dirt, her eyes holding something that made even these battle-hardened cadets shift nervously. "I was there," Zarath said quietly. "I commanded the secondary assault wave. I watched this human female kill 47 of our warriors, not through superior technology or numbers, but through sheer incomprehensible will." She resumed the footage. The final minutes showed Sergeant Chen standing alone in the compound's control center, the last of her comrades fallen. Surrounded by dozens of hegemony soldiers, she should have surrendered. Instead, she activated the base's self-destruct sequence. The explosion consumed everything within a 5-kilometer radius. She died, Zarath said, but she took 238 of our forces with her. The mining operation was delayed by 2 full cycles. Our commanders learned something that day, something that changed how we approach human conflicts. Cadet Vexhi's voice was barely a whisper. What did they learn? That humans do not fight to win. They fight to ensure that victory costs their enemies everything. Zarath turned off the projection. This is why they remain classified as a Class 7 threat despite their apparent weaknesses. This is why the High Command now recommends avoiding direct confrontation with human forces whenever possible. The classroom fell silent. These cadets had been trained to respect strength, to understand warfare through the lens of superior firepower and tactical advantage. But the footage had shown them something else entirely, a species that turned desperation into weapon, that made victory itself a form of defeat. Your assignment, Zarath concluded, is to develop new tactical approaches for engaging human forces. But remember, conventional wisdom suggests that the best strategy when facing humans in combat is simple. Don't. As the cadets filed out, their confident chatter notably absent, Zarath remained at the podium. She touched the scar that ran along her carapace, a gift from Sergeant Chen during those final moments. The human had been dying, her weapon empty, yet she had still managed to mark the alien who would eventually tell her story. Perhaps that had been the point all along. In the depths of space, humanity's reputation grew not through conquest or technological superiority, but through the simple, terrifying truth that they would never stop fighting. And sometimes, Zarath reflected, that was the most dangerous weapon of all.